There's a rich, gorgeous Romanian fairy tale that's full of seductive female spirits, stolen and restored souls, and lots of cool Romanian mythology. It's called Mogarzae and His Son. There's a young lad who's been orphaned, and his foster parents treat him horribly, so he says, you know what, I'm done with this, I'm gonna go out into the world on my own. So he travels and travels, and then finally one night he's cold, he's hungry, and he sees this giant sleeping in the ground. So he decides to creep inside the bottom of the giant's trousers and sleep there for the night. In the morning, the giant wakes up and he falls out, and the giant's like, who are you? What are you doing? And he's like, I have been sent here to be your son, because he wants this found family so much. He's like, I will be a dutiful son to you because I don't have real parents. The giant, whose name is Mogarzae, says, all right, that's fine with me. The two live together tending sheep all day in this kind of barren land that they live in. There's a beautiful land with lots of rich grass, but Mogarzae says never go over there or woe betide you. Our dude also notices that his foster dad is super sad all the time, and so finally he gets him to tell him why. Turns out he's a prince, and one day he set out to go to a place called Sweet Milk Lake. He wanted to go there to marry a fairy. I guess that's what you go there for. But on the way, wicked elves tricked him and stole his soul. Ever since then, he stays here tending sheep and can't go home because he's just so dead inside and sad. The son is like, I want to go get you your soul back. And he's like, no, it's the people in that boundary in that land we can't go to. It's too dangerous, don't do it. But of course, our dude is gonna do it. He's apparently really good at the flute, so he goes near the border and starts playing the flute, and these maidens come out and start dancing to it. The maidens in the story are translated as elves or fairies, but in Romanian, there's something else. Some fairies in their mythology are zana, but these are probably specifically yele, which are sometimes malevolent female spirits that seduce men and take their souls. When our dude stops playing the flute, they're like, you can't stop. And he's like, I'll come back tomorrow. And they're like, you better, we'll come find you and get you. He does this for a couple days, and then on the third day, he drops his flute and steps on it, pretending it's an accident, and breaks it. And he's like, I can't play you the flute music anymore. And they're like, well, make another one. He's like, well, it has to be from this certain kind of cherry tree. And they're like, that's fine, we've got one over here. We'll fell it for you. You can make a new one. He gets them to fell the tree, and he puts his axe in, so there's just one sliver. And he's like, I need to get inside. So can you guys stick your fingers in here to like pry it open for me? And they're like, yeah. And when they put their fingers in there, he pulls the axe out, and boom, their fingers are stuck and they are writhing in agony. They begged for him to release them, almost faint with pain, but he would not even listen to their promises. He was as cold as stone. He says, tell me where Mogarzae's soul is. And they're like, fine, it's in this bottle over there. And he goes and he gets it. But he does not release them. He leaves them there in agony. He goes back to Mogarzae, who is asleep, and first he has to draw out the false soul that has been put in there. And he does that by getting on his chest and just jumping up and down until it comes out. Then he pours the soul down his throat from the bottle, and then even washes it and puts water in there and makes him drink that water too, just to get it all out. Then he applies a magic plaster or poultice to like heal him, and then when he wakes up, he's like, oh my god, my soul's back. And he's like, yeah, I got it for you. And he tells him everything that happened. So our dude and Mogarzae go back to where their fingers are still stuck in the thing and they're writhing in agony, and he just picks up the tree because he's a giant, and they go back to his kingdom where he is a prince. They get home, he presents them to his family, says here's what happens, and he's welcomed back. Our dude lives with him happily for a while until he says, you know, I want to go to that Sweet Milk Lake you talked about and try and get a fairy to be my bride. He's like, don't go. Our guy's like, yeah, I'm gonna though. And he says, okay. Our dude goes to Sweet Milk Lake, gets his flute out because he did make a new one, and starts playing it, and this beautiful golden-haired fairy comes out. Not one of the malevolent ones we're assuming. She dances and dances, and he gets closer and closer to her. She's so lost in the pleasure of dancing, she doesn't notice how close he's gotten, and then he suddenly rushed upon her, clasped her in his arms, kissed her, and snatched the rose from her head. She screamed and begged him to give back the flower, but he refused. The story even seems to feel bad for her. It says even wood and stone might have wept over her grief, but she'd lamented and entreated, but he won't give it back, so she has to go with him. This happens a lot in folklore all over the world. If a woman is a magical creature, like she can turn into a swan, you steal her feathers or her wings or her special cloak, and she belongs to you now. She has no power and must do what you want. And is it kidnapping? Yeah, but in the folklore world, this is just how things are done. So she goes back with him, and since she can't do anything about it, she says, all right, I'll marry you. They go back to Mogarzae's kingdom, and they have this big, amazing wedding, and it's all beautiful and feasting forever. And every year in the month of May, he and his wife return to Milk Lake to bathe their children in its waves. And then after Mogarzae's dad dies and he gets the kingdom, he splits half of it with art, dude. So he goes from being an abused orphan to having half a kingdom and a fairy bride. A cool theme about found family and about helping people, and horribly torturing creatures that do evil and steal souls. Like in most folklore, it has this idea that if you want to succeed and truly become yourself and get all the things you want, you have to go into forbidden territory. You have to go out and try and put yourself on a limb to help someone else. I really love the part about Mogarzae getting his soul back. Like that feeling of being you again and being one with yourself, somehow healing or restoring what was taken from you. I really like that. I don't like the kidnapping the wife as much. That's less fun.